Good Friday morning, everybody. First, I want to put a plug in for uh, my wife's event going on tomorrow. It's called Lamp Keepers. It's at Mount Zion Baptist Church in Warrensburg, or outside of Warrensburg, 313 Northeast Highway V is in Victory. It's at 7 a.m. It's for women. So just go be part of a group. It's a growing group there, and just hear somebody's testimony, be encouraged, and just be part of a community. Um, I'm reading through Daniel today, and um, I'm in what I'm going to read from is Daniel chapter 3, and going to jump around in it just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and start. It's 3 verses 1 through um, or just verse 1 and then verse 4, and then I'll jump down a little bit. King Nebuchadnezzar made a gold statue 90 feet tall and 9 feet wide, and set it up on the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. Then a herald shouted out, "People of all races and nations and languages, listen to the king's command. When you hear the sounds of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipes, and other musical instruments, bow to the ground to worship King Nebuchadnezzar's gold statue. Anyone who refuses to obey will immediately be thrown into a blazing furnace." So we go on a little bit in there, and it talks about there's uh, exiles from Jerusalem, and there's people from Judah who have been captured, and so that's Daniel. It talks about here Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and so Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused to bow down, and so that's where we'll pick up at. Nebuchadnezzar was so furious with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego that his face became distorted with rage. He commanded that the furnace be heated 7 times hotter than usual. Then he ordered some of the strongest men in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and throw them into the blazing furnace. So they tied them up and threw them into the furnace, fully dressed in their pants, turban, robes, and other garments. And because the king in his anger had demanded such a hot fire in the furnace, the flames killed the soldiers as they threw the 3 men in. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, securely tied, fell into the roaring flames. But suddenly Nebuchadnezzar jumped up in amazement and exclaimed to his advisers, "Didn't we tie up 3 men and throw them into the furnace?" "Yes, your majesty, we certainly did," they replied. "Look," Nebuchadnezzar shouted, "I see 4 men unbound walking around in the fire unharmed, and the fourth looks like a god." Then Nebuchadnezzar came as close as he could to the door of the flaming furnace and shouted, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out, come here." So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stepped out of the fire. Then the high officers, officials, governors, and advisers crowded around them and saw that the fire had not touched them. Not a hair on their heads was singed, and their clothing was not scorched. They didn't even smell of smoke. Then Nebuchadnezzar said, "Praise to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He sent his angel to rescue his servants who trusted in him. They defied the king's command and were willing to die rather than serve or worship any god except for their own God. Therefore, I make this decree: if any people, whatever their race or nation or language, speak a word against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they'll be torn limb from limb, and their houses will be turned into heaps of rubble. There is no other God who can rescue like this." Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to even higher positions in the province of Babylon. So, something that's an amazing story. Obviously, miracle happened there, and it's one that I love to read again and again. But at the beginning, it talks about a 90-foot tall statue idol that King Nebuchadnezzar had made, and so we have idols in our lives too. Whether we think they're an idol or not is one thing. It doesn't always look like a 90-foot tall statue, so uh, it can be a number of things. So if it's something that's taking our time from God, if it's something that's taking our time from our family, that's not honoring God, um, then there might be an idol there. So ask God to reveal those to you. Ask Him to help you to get rid of those idols and to turn to Him. And this also makes me think of Romans 12:2, which says, "Do not be conformed to the patterns of this world, but rather be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may prove what is the good, pleasing, and perfect will of God." Um, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego did not go with the pattern of the world there. Everybody else was worshiping this idol, and they were like, no, we're not doing that. So just remember, it's okay to not go with how the world is going, to not do what they're doing. God will honor you. God will, he protected them in this case. But Paul goes on to write that what's the worst they can do to me, that they're going to kill me? Then I get to go see God sooner. So just remember, your faithfulness to God will be noticed, and God will be with you in those times. So again, I hope this is encouraging today. Hopefully you take something from that. I know I have, and I hope you all have a great weekend. Stay warm, safe travels with a little bit of snow coming in this afternoon. And if you need any prayer, reach out. If not, I'll be praying for you anyway.